Now, our cheekbone consists of 3 sutures, 3 surfaces, 3 processes, and 5 borders. Now let's recall sutures. We remember that they function as joints in our skull. This type of joint is called synarthrosis. Remember, I just told you that the zygomatic bone consists of 3 sutures. Now starting with the zygomatico-maxillary suture. This suture is a cranial suture between the maxilla and the zygomatic bone on the floor of the orbit. Next we have a zygomatico-frontal suture. This suture is present between the zygomatic bone and the frontal bone. At the last we have sphenozygomatic suture. Now this suture joins the greater wing of the sphenoid bone and the zygomatic bone on the lateral wall of the orbit. So let's have a quick overview of all these sutures. Remember, at first we have zygomatico-maxillary suture, which was present between the maxilla and the zygomatic bone. Secondly, we had the zygomatico-frontal suture, which was present between the zygomatic bone and the frontal bone. Third, we have the sphenozygomatic suture. That was present between the greater wing of the sphenoid bone and the zygomatic bone on the lateral wall of the orbit. So as we know that the surfaces of our bones bear projections, depressions, foramens and ridges and are quite important to study. Now let's take a closer look on the surfaces of the cheekbone. Seeing here, we have a medial line which is dividing the right and left half of our face. We have the right side and the left side. So for today, we are going to focus on the left cheekbone. Now this is our lateral surface, which presents a very important zygomatico-facial foramen. This foramen transmits the zygomatico-facial nerve. It is an important feature on the lateral surface of the cheekbone and it helps us in marking and remembering the lateral surface. So next we have the temporal surface. Now this surface of the cheekbone is smooth and concave. As you can see here, it gets slightly inwards and can also be called the anterior medial surface. It has a zygomatico-temporal foramen, which is a small foramen transmitting the zygomatico-temporal nerve. Thirdly, we have the orbital surface. Now this surface faces towards the orbit and forms the anterior lateral part of its floor and the anterior part of its lateral wall. It is also a smooth and a concave surface, which features a zygomatico-orbital foramen, which is a gateway to the bony canal found within the zygomatic bone. So what do we understand by learning the surfaces of zygomatic bones? We have learned that all these surfaces have an important foramina, which are a gateway to the nerves and the bony canals and play a quite major role. Next, we will move towards learning the borders of the zygomatic bone. For a better understanding of the bone, we have to go through its bony borders as previously we have discussed in the surfaces. The border between the lateral and orbital surface of the zygomatic bone is called the anterior superior or orbital border. Next, we have the anterior inferior or the maxillary border, which is the articular surface for the zygomatico-maxillary suture. Okay, so thirdly we have the posterior superior temporal border, which is continuous with the superior border of the zygomatic arch and the posterior border of the frontal process. It serves as an attachment point for the temporal fascia. Now we'll move on to the posterior inferior border, which is rough, and its important feature is that it serves as the attachment site for the masseter muscle. Now moving on to the posterior medial border, we know it is serrated and articulates with the greater wing of sphenoid bone superiorly through the sphenozygomatic suture, and with the orbital surface of maxilla it attaches inferiorly between the articular surfaces. So let's have a quick overview of all the surfaces and the borders. So this is the frontal surface. The next we have is temporal anterior medial surface in the inner side, as represented by the arrows, and lastly we have an orbital surface. Now let's see a quick display of borders. Firstly, we have anterior superior or orbital border as shown by the dark blue line. The anterior inferior maxillary border is shown by the light green line. Then we have the posterior superior or temporal border. Next we have the posterior inferior temporal border, and lastly we have the posterior medial temporal border shown with the yellow color. I hope now you guys have a good understanding about the surfaces and borders of the zygomatic bone. Now we will move forward to the processes. As we know that in facial bones, the processes have been very important to study because they are the projections in our bones, so we cannot skip that part. So let's move on to the processes. Firstly, let me tell you that what basically is a process in terms of anatomy. It is an outgrowth of a tissue from a larger body or any projection in the bone, which is called a process. Our cheekbone or the zygomatic bone has three main processes, which are the frontal process, the temporal process, and the maxillary process. The frontal process originates from the upper margin of the zygomatic bone. It is oriented superiorly, comprising the lateral outline of the orbit. It articulates with the zygomatic process of frontal bone superiorly through the zygomatico-frontal suture, and with the greater wing of sphenoid bone posteriorly through the sphenozygomatic suture. The frontal process features a bony tubercle on its orbital surface called the Whitnell's tubercle. This tubercle is an attachment site for some ligaments of the eye. Now let me tell you something very interesting. It is that the second most common area of fracture in the face is the fracture of the zygomatic bone, especially of the left frontal process. This kind of injury often happens during a car accident or due to being punched in the face with a fist. Depending on the severity of the dislocation, the bone can either move slightly along its sutures or more severely in an anterior, medial, lateral, or posterior direction. Clinically, one should check for pain, a flattened cheekbone, swelling, a subconjunctival hemorrhage, and displacement of the cheekbone. You might also notice diplopia, which is when a patient perceives double images of a single object, and paresthesia, which is a tingling sensation or numbness in the skin. Moving on to the temporal process, it originates from the lower half of the zygomatic bone. It is oriented posteriorly and slightly superiorly towards the temporal bone. The terminal tip of the temporal process is oblique and jagged, and it articulates with the zygomatic process of temporal bone, with which it comprises the zygomatic arch. Moving forward to the maxillary process, it arises from the anterior superior angle of the zygomatic bone. On the anterior side, it extends, comprising the infralateral margin of the orbit. The inferior margin of this process participates in the joint with the maxilla. Posteriorly, it is continuous with the orbital surface of the bone. Now let's have an overview of all of this. This is the frontal process, we have the temporal process, and then we have the maxillary process. Now let's recall the important landmarks of our cheekbone. We studied that our cheekbone, what we also call the zygomatic bone, consists of the game of three, which are three surfaces, three processes, and three sutures that function as the joints. Other than that, we have 5 borders. These all make the zygomatic bone an important part of our facial cranium.